guys, welcome to TPW Talking Pro Wrestling. And tomorrow night's Blood and Guts will take place in Detroit, Michigan, and that's what I'm going to talk about this time around. There is two matches that were announced this time around. The Blood and Guts match, of course. And then we have singles action coming up as Orange Cassidy looks to take on Ethan Page. And that's all that's been announced. I'm sure more is going to be brought down like last minute or something. And Christian Cage will be live as well. So it's going to be a big event. I'm ready for Blood and Guts. I'm going to talk about Orange Cassidy and Ethan Page's matchup first. So from what I'm reading here, let's see, give me a second. From what I'm reading here from Twitter, Lambert mocked AEW for not using bigger sized men on TV and mocked Cassidy for his lazy attitude. So that's how this matchup came to play, apparently. Ethan Page and Orange Cassidy is going to be a big matchup. It's something I've been wanting for a while, actually, and I'm glad it's finally happening. And it's in singles action, so that's even better. I'm very glad that this is happening. I'm very glad Orange Cassidy's getting something here. Ethan Page, I think, should get the win in this. That's my prediction. Ethan Page is just so underrated when he gets in the ring, and he doesn't get enough credit for what he does. I really think that. I think Ethan Page should be pushed as soon as possible. So, but I mean that you can't push everybody. I get it. With everything going on, though, with the injuries that are happening and all that other big stuff happening within AEW, I think it's possible to push Ethan Page. Plus, they have Rampage. They could push Ethan Page on Rampage. Give him a matchup one matchup every week, even if it isn't Rampage. They could give him a match on Dynamite. They could give him a match on Rampage. Give him something. And give him some big match card ups. Give him something big, something like that. Show why Ethan Page is so good in the ring. But I'm glad that he's fighting Orange Cassidy this time around. And story-wise, I think it makes sense because the American Top Team, they want to be these top guys. They're saying that they're the most fearsome team in AEW right now, and they don't like how AEW is right now, and they want that to change. So story-wise, this makes sense. I agree with what is happening here as well. Build-up, though, is a little weird at first, but I'm sure it's going to be still going to be a good matchup. So yeah, my prediction, Ethan Page grabs the victory. And now let's go to the big Blood and Guts matchup. It will be the Jericho Appreciation Society taking on Blackpool Combat Club, Eddie Kingston, and Santana and Ortiz. Everyone that's in the matchup for the Jericho Appreciation Society, it'll be Chris Jericho, Matt Menard, Angelo Parker, Daniel Garcia, Sammy Guevara, and Jake Hager. And then for the Blackpool Combat Club's team, and of course Eddie Kingston and Santana and Ortiz. So those three are there. Blackpool Combat Club's John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta will be a part of that. Will be a part of that as well. So what are the rules for the Blood and Guts? First of all, since Jericho Appreciation Society won the matchup on Forbidden Door against the team on Forbidden Door, they get the advantage for Blood and Guts as well. So it'll be a 2-on-1 advantage at first. So here's what it's going to be. Three men, 2-on-1 will start in the ring, and a new competitor will enter each 2 minutes, and the match will not officially begin until all 12 men are in the ring. The only way for this match to end is for a wrestler to either be knocked out or to say, "I quit," basically. I thought that was interesting when I first saw the Blood and Guts match, that they weren't having elimination style, and they're not having it this time around, it sounds like, either. And that's good. That makes things very interesting. And very unpredictable, in my opinion, too, because this really means that anything could happen. Jericho Appreciation Society could get the big advantage here, since they already have the big advantage, or Blackpool Combat Club's team could find a way to capitalize a big moment and maybe even take down Jericho Appreciation Society. I don't know. The crazy part is that the match won't officially begin until all 12 men are in the ring. That's what amazes me, really. That's really what amazes me. My predictions for who will start first, I think, on the Jericho Appreciation Society side, I think Matt Menard and Angelo Parker will start this matchup. And then I think for the Blackpool Combat Club side, I think Eddie Kingston will start first. And then the next 2 minutes hit, I think Santana will be second. He joins Eddie Kingston to take on Matt Menard and Angelo Parker. And then for the Jericho Appreciation Society, 2 minutes later, Jake Hager, I think, will come out. And then 2 minutes later, for the Blackpool Combat Club side, I think Ortiz will show up. So I'm saying Eddie Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz will take on Matt Menard, Angelo Parker, and Jake Hager. And now for the Jericho Appreciation Society side, 2 minutes later, I think Sammy Guevara will show up next. And then 2 minutes later for the Blackpool Combat Club side, Ring of Honor Pure Champion Wheeler Yuta will be next. And then for the Jericho Appreciation Society side, I think Daniel Garcia will be next. And then 2 minutes after that, I think the recently debuting man who took on Zack Sabre Jr. at Forbidden Door, Claudio Castagnoli, will be next. And then finally, for the Jericho Appreciation Society side, I think Chris Jericho will be the last one to show up for this matchup. And then for the Blackpool Combat Club side, I think interim AEW World Champion Jon Moxley will be last. I think Chris Jericho being last makes sense because he's the leader of the Jericho Appreciation Society, and having the rest of the faction going on before him would be something interesting to see. I think that's a good reason why I think Jericho should be last. And I think Jon Moxley should be last mainly because he had that really hardcore matchup with Hiroshi Tanahashi. And really what all happened there was he got blood all over his forehead and he was bleeding like crazy. And he became the interim world champion. So he fought the hardest, and I don't think he should fight as hard in this matchup. That's really the real reason why I think John should be last. But John's crazy. He's hardcore. I really don't think I'm going to be getting these predictions correct this time around, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But there you go, guys. That's my predictions for the AEW's Blood and Guts event. I will post the results, and then I will, after Blood and Guts, and then I will do my Impact Wrestling predictions. Then after Impact Wrestling, I will do the MLW and Rampage predictions. Of course, those are going to be different episodes. But anyway, and then I will do the results for Rampage and MLW as well. And then I don't know. I still don't know if I'm going to do New Japan Strong, but we'll see what happens. Thank you, everybody. This is TPW Talking Pro Wrestling. Thank you all for watching. Well, listening, I mean. And don't forget, if you want to if you want to listen to more of these, then hit a follow on Spotify, subscribe on YouTube, follow on any other platforms that I'm on. Thank you very much. But now it's finally time to... and sorry, I forgot to say this, but it's finally time to say who is going to win the Blood and Guts matchup. I think Blackpool Comic Club should win this. In my opinion, it's pretty self-explanatory. The Anarchy in the Arena was just mainly for giggles and laughs, and I know it was pretty hardcore, though, but there was also some pretty funny moments, which is what the Jericho Appreciation Society is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about the sports entertainment, the comedy, the giggles, and all that other stuff. And doing the AEW Galaxy, all this other stuff that they've been doing. But Blackpool Comic Club, they're the complete opposite, like we've seen. They're the professional wrestlers. They're the hardcore ones. They beat people up for fun, and they're very serious. They're very violent. We've seen that from this faction that William Regal became a part of and has gotten Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson to start in the first place. And with Blood and Guts being such a hardcore matchup, I think it's only fair that Blackpool Comic Club gets this victory. It's a great storyline that's happening right now. And then we got tied victory within Blackpool Comic Club and Jericho Appreciation Society, as both will get one victory each. But I mean, I'm counting the faction battles. I'm not counting the singles matches. So Jericho Appreciation Society won their match, and the Anarchy in the Arena on Double or Nothing, and Blackpool Comic Club getting this victory at Blood and Guts would further go on. This would further build up to their rivalry that is happening right now. So we'll see what happens. I'm very excited, though, for Blood and Guts. It's going to be great. Detroit, Michigan, everybody. Rampage, Detroit, Michigan. So yeah, I'm very excited. Thank you for real this time for watching and all that. Again, subscribe on YouTube. Follow on Spotify. Follow on any other platforms that I'm on. Thank you all very much. For real this time. Good night.